As a professional athlete, when you walk into the locker room, you're walking into the locker room amongst men and women that have different experiences. Their upbringing could be totally different than yours, but you all have one mission. Here at House of Athlete, our locker room, our teammates, we call them tribe members, the tribe. In this latest episode of Redefining Athlete, we push the conversation forward for the LGBTQ+ community. Our athletes, our tribe, will continue to lean into these difficult conversations and celebrate all people. In our house, we're all equal. Dr. Mel did a phenomenal job of guiding this conversation, highlighting different athletes with different experiences. Hope you enjoy this conversation with Dr. Mel and our tribe.
Hi, I'm Shannon McMullen, and I am redefining athlete by being authentically me.
Hi, my name is Stefan Weisgerber. I'm redefining athlete by discipline and confidence.
I'm Elena Rodriguez, and I'm redefining athlete by holding a space for others that identify just like I do.
My name is Taylor Pinkney, and I'm redefining athlete by being supportive and always being able to adapt.
My name is Tony Presley, and I'm redefining athlete by being authentically myself.
I am so happy to be here with you all. I'm Dr. Melanie Hussein. I'm a therapist at House of Athlete and a very proud ally. And what's really beautiful is to be able to hold space and have conversation. And today, I'm honored to moderate this beautiful conversation and hold space, which is really, really amazing. And I would love to get to know you all a little bit more and introduce yourselves and tell me a little bit about you.
So I'm Shannon McMullen, Director of Fitness at House of Athlete. My pronouns are she and her. I identify as a lesbian, very proud member of the community. I have been out and about since I was about 16, so about 11 years now. But yeah, that's kind of a little synopsis about me.
I'm Steph. I'm the head of retail here at House of Athlete. I grew up in Germany, been living in Canada and the US, and I'm super happy here. I've been out since I'm 23. I probably know that I'm gay since I am 16, 17, and yeah, been in long-term relationships with men, and yeah.
I'm Taylor. I am the e-commerce manager here at House of Athlete. My pronouns are she and her, and I am also a proud ally.
I'm Elena. I'm the Assistant General Manager at House of Athlete. I'm also the head of nutrition and food and beverage. I identify as a lesbian. My pronouns are she, her. And I've been out since my early 20s, but same as Steph, I've known my whole life.
My name is Tony Presley. I'm a professional soccer player. And as far as how I identify, I think I'm still trying to figure that out.
Beautiful, and I appreciate you all sharing. When it comes to June, it's an exciting month, which is filled with exciting celebration and something to be highlighted not just in June, but throughout, and how we can really showcase so much color and livelihood. And I'm so curious how it comes about. Maybe you all feel comfortable sharing maybe some challenges or things that you have faced when it comes with inequality and just kind of different ways of standing out and how that's kind of impacted parts of your stories and that type of capacity in any way. And even sharing as an ally too, and as a fellow ally too, when you see your friends and colleagues going through things, different impacts. So I'm curious, a little bit about that.
I think for me, I started first noticing inequality in this concept, of the LGBTQ community. Early in high school, one of my best friends, told me one day, hey Shan, I'm not I don't feel like a woman, I'm a man, I don't really understand this and whatever. And seeing how he was treated from that moment until a week ago even is crazy. It's kind of people forget that we're people. People are like, oh, I don't see color, I don't see this, I don't see that. And it's like, well, you should, because then you can acknowledge what people actually face in their life. Like, if you're a trans man or woman, or if you're asexual, or if you're bisexual, or gay, lesbian, whatever you are, like, you're gonna face slightly different obstacles, but all in all, obstacles that are very hard. Like, even I used to dress very feminine and like do hair and makeup, this, that. My hair used to be like down in my butt. It was wild. And even from my transition to being a little bit more masculine presenting, it's sad and it's crazy to see how people treat me different. Even walking into a bathroom 2 weeks ago when I went in the airport for my birthday, like, old ladies, you know, looking me up and down being like, boobs? No boobs. Like, leggings? I'm confused, you know? And I'm like, hi, like, you know, and I'm like, oh, my hair.
It's like you have to fem it up, like,
yeah,
oh, I'm in the right space.
Yeah, and
you
like,
know?
I notice even like my voice will be like more like proper and I'm like, ugh, like what am I, yeah, like what am I doing? Like, I'm not this like femme presenting human. And I think just, and not so long story, it's just, I think we just all face it every day, whether we know it or not.
Yeah. I appreciate you sharing that. Just being able to be authentically you, but then feeling layers of judgment coming from certain people, which becomes such a challenge, because then it makes you like, do I question myself? But how do you talk to yourself through that?
And how do you keep yourself like, hey, I am sticking to it. I know this is who I am, but it's so hard because like, I'm sure we all face it in different ways. Like, sometimes it's like, man, I wish I was like normal. I wish I was this straight person who X, Y, and Z, but at the end of the day, I'm so happy I'm not. Like, I'm so happy I am like a lesbian and going through all the things that I am, because it made me this dope ass human that I am now.
And it paves the way for like other people to be like, oh, if she can do it, and look at her. She's the director of fitness at this amazing facility and does all these really cool things. Like, well, if she does it, I can do it, you know? I think that's really important.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Like the visibility of just how diverse being part of the LGBT community is, even as an ally, you know, you and Taylor, it's like, just like I said, the diversity, feeling that acceptance is really important.
My struggle was actually more on the inside than the outside. So I didn't really get any, or didn't have any issues that someone had issues with me. My struggle was with inside me, actually, that I didn't accept myself in some ways, right? And I think that gave the struggle to me in some ways, where I didn't do certain things that might have made me happy because I thought that they might be wrong in some ways. And it took me a long time to actually overcome that and to accept myself for who I am, and to live the life that I should be living in some ways, and not live the life that society wants me to live. And but I'm probably the oldest person on the table. It takes a lot of time to get there, and I wish that I could have done things different in my life when I was younger, but I'm happy who I am and where I am now. I'm a stronger person now because I had the struggle earlier, and to overcome the struggle and to win and to be a strong person, strong human being, I think it's a really powerful experience.
For sure, yeah. I think, like what you touched on, it's like what you think society, or what society makes you feel like you should be, or even as just a woman, you know. I don't have kids, I'm not married, I'm brown, I'm gay, like all these things that aren't the norm. It's like you constantly have to kind of give yourself a pep talk, like, it's okay that you're not all these things, or that this is where you're at. Everyone's story, everyone's journey is different, you know, and it's, some days it's okay. I can handle it, and I go through life and I'm like, yes, I'm doing the thing, you know, and then some days I'm like, but look at my friends, they all have kids, or whatever it is, you know, and you kind of like, you're constantly comparing your journey to other people's journey, and when you finally, you're just like, get over it, or you kind of get past it through therapy and whatever resources you need, you know, it's so liberating, and you're just like, oh, I can breathe, like, it's okay. But there's definitely moments where those feelings resurface, but you know, getting to that level where you're comfortable in your skin, it's like, I am who I am, like, I'm not hurting anyone, I love everyone, I let people live their lives, like, all is well.
Yeah.
You know.
I've always struggled with being put into a box or like labels. So I think, you know, I've always been attracted to men. I've always dated men. And then I found myself being engaged to a woman and loving her and being in this great relationship. And then I guess I never really thought about, oh, like, am I bi now? Like, what does this really mean? I kind of just went with the flow, and it felt good, and the energy was good, and we had like a really like great connection, and that's what I focused on the most. Not really like, what does that mean for me now? Like, what am I? Am I a lesbian? Am I bi? Am I still straight? I think, you know, we live in a society where we want to put people in all of these boxes and labels, and I think, you know, sometimes we can just be.
I was just gonna say, just being an ally, like, I can relate to what all of you guys are saying, especially being a woman of color and just me personally growing up, you know, and not so diverse, you know, communities all the time, and having to kind of navigate that, and always wanting support from other people, just growing up and just wanting to give that support back to the you know, LGBTQ plus community, and just be there and just treat everyone like normal people, because we all go through the same shit at the end of the day.
Literally.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and we appreciate you so much being an ally, because like, I don't know about like y'all, but growing up, it was kind of like I wanted just queer friends, because I thought that was the only group that could maybe understand the struggle of the internal and the external pressures. And then now it's like, you know, growing up, living life, realizing like most people and most, you know, minorities and everything are gonna go through hell and back, and just being able to support each other's communities, even though you might not relate on like the surface level, like deep down, you definitely relate. And that's so freaking important, that we're just humans.
Yeah,
Like,
And we all
at the end of
have
the day.
We all
Yeah.
have shit we go through, and we all have battles, and we all have things, but it's like, at the end of the day,
yeah, we're just
Yeah.
We're
people.
all humans.
Yeah.
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 And
Gotta
look at
get
us.
through it.
We're sitting at a table talking about it. Like 13-year-old Shan wouldn't think I could be up here with short hair, like dating a woman like so openly, and like, you know, it's just like, it's so cool. But then it's kind of like, damn, like, how did I really get here? You know, and like stopping and appreciating that. Like, not realizing, you know, if I go to the wharf and because everybody's drunk in the bathroom, they like double check if it's the men's bathroom or something like that. And like not letting that get to me, because I am living authentically. It might bother me for a second, but like at the end of the day, like, screw it. Like, I'm just gonna live rainbows and whatever. And I'm gonna keep my gay flag in my living room until, you know, I move out or whatever it is. And just being like extremely like full of pride, you know?
I think kind of something we were talking about before was like this thing where we have to constantly come out, you know, in every new job or every new friend circle, or in wherever that you're not with your normal crew. It's like you're always like, you know, you introduce yourself and you get to know people, but then there does come a point where it's like, okay, now I got to tell them I'm gay. Like, here we go again for the millionth time, you know? And it's like that itself, you know, straight people aren't like, hi, I'm Bob and I'm straight. You know?
Yeah.
Like, but it's almost like it eventually happens. And
I was actually with a Bob at the pool on Saturday. I was just lying there reading my book, and then this older gentleman came to me, straight guy, and he's like, hey, I'm Bob. I'm like, hey, Bob. Really? And like the nicest older gentleman from New York, we were just chatting, and like then like we spoke about travel, and like he should go to the Maldives to go with a hot babe. I'm like, I'm like, do I need to tell him right now that I'm gay or not? I just didn't, to be honest. Like, I just acknowledged it.
Yeah.
And the conversation we were in was really specific. We're talking about energy and the difference between nuclear power, oil, coal, new energy sources, and fusion energy, where the future is going. So I didn't feel putting my gay in there. But at the same time, maybe I should have, because I would have broken that cliche of the gay man that might not be a physician or a chemist and so on. And I should have, because it is work then to engage and not, I don't want to say educate, but just make it more normal, as we say, right? And
It's a cool way to say it, like, to think about it, like, it's my choice.
Yeah, I like that. You don't always have to
don't
put
have
the
to tell
gay
you.
stamp of approval
Yeah.
on everything,
true.
but I do. But you don't have to. But also, you can look at me, and if you don't think I'm gay, like, you must be, I don't know.
Blind.
Yeah, that's, I always try to, like, make it, like, a point. Like, some people think I'm straight, which is cool, but also very strange. Or, like, I don't know if it's, like, this thing where, like, because we're in such, like, a heteronormative way of thinking for everything, it's just, like, they can't believe anyone is not straight or something. But I'm always, like, in there to make it awkward if it needs to be, or throw it in there, because it does need to become this thing where, like, when people come up to you, he doesn't have to say babe. Like, and babe, you know, babe can be anything. Like, a dude can be a babe too, but, like, we know what he meant by it. And it needs to become this thing where we can't just always assume things, right? Like, you know, visually looking at you and Elena, like, when we first met, I was like, oh, she's got gay vibes, but, like, I wasn't sure.
why is that?
You know, it's the gaydar. It's the gaydar. So if you're watching this, if you're straight, I can't explain gaydar. You either got it or you don't got it. Not really sure, but she had gay vibes.
That's
it's
so
the
funny.
Aquarius in you. But you know, like, I don't know, and you know, looking at me,
For sure.
that, like, I am.
Yeah.
It's very interesting how.
Yeah,
it all,
I get
like,
that
goes
a lot.
about
Like
it.
you're saying, like, people are like, oh, you are? No, you're not. It's like, because I'm feminine presenting, or, you know, I'm not. I like to have a balance of both. Like, I have my moments where I want to dress in boys' clothes, and you know, or whatever. But most of the time, people don't believe me or don't assume that I am because I don't look gay. You know, I'm not masculine. I don't have short hair. I do my nails, and, like, you know, and even within the gay community and lesbians, I don't get approached. Like, no one thinks like I'm not the token lesbian, I guess. I don't know, whatever that even means. It's confusing to me, and I'm in the, you know, in the community. So it's also having to come out all the time and then be like, no, really, I am.
Almost having to prove
it's not
it.
a phase. Like, you know, there's different, you know, varieties of us. Yeah.
Like, I don't know about y'all, but even when I, like, came out or something, and automatically my friends are like, but you don't like me, right? And I'm like,
what?
absolutely not.
Yeah.
You know, and even more so not now, you know, and it's just crazy. Like, I remember
So silly.
even, like, when I was younger, trying to tell my friends, they would distance themselves thinking I was gonna get a crush. And I think everyone needs to know that, like, if you're queer, that doesn't mean you like every man on the planet.
Exactly. Just like straight people don't like every
Exactly,
whatever.
but it's
male
this,
is-
like, almost assumed thing. It's like you, maybe y'all have gotten it, but I've always gotten, because I was, like, single for, like, 2 years, and everybody was like, let me hook you up, and it's like, yo, I got a gay friend, I'm gonna introduce you, and I'm like, that doesn't mean anything. And then we meet, and it's like this weird, not even a blind
Not
date,
your-
like,
not your type at
and
all.
I'm like, you want to be bros, like, you know? And then it's like, I got so many friends from people trying to, like, hook me up, and I'm like, let me do that to you. I got a straight buddy over here. I'm gonna put you guys in the awkward corner, and you have to talk, and you have to get married. You know, it's just like, you have to. And I think I've been trying to, like, train my street friends and being like, this ain't how it works, you know? But it's, like, crazy to see people's minds on how they see it.
Like, I've been through so many weddings, straight weddings, and there was always one gay table, and you're always being sitting at a gay table, actually.
Yeah. Oh, they're gonna get
honestly
along.
avoid
They're gonna be
going to
besties. That's actually hilarious.
That's an important thing, and maybe you can shed light when it means to show support and be an ally in everything that they're sharing. The discrimination that kind of goes within in this group, like, as heavy as that is, oh, we're gonna put you at this table, and then you're gonna be here. But if you look at that systemically too, and you really think about that, it's other, and how hard that must feel inside of those spaces. Have you guys felt like other in, like, moments too?
Yeah, just like past experiences. I used to work in the fashion industry. Obviously, there's not a lot of people that look like me. In most cases, there are a lot of people that are part of the LGBTQI community. So just, I mean, to the point I made earlier, just treating them like regular human beings. Like, sharing that same energy, sharing that same connection naturally and authentically, and just supporting no matter what.
And how do we create those spaces? And how do we create those safe spaces for conversations?
I think a lot of people actually don't do it to hurt someone. I think they just don't know better in some ways, right? And I think that's where society overall just needs to get better in understanding that what you say might hurt someone. I always say, like, if you smile at someone, it's always the best approach to start a conversation in some ways. But if you're there and you're and mean and I don't know, it doesn't get you anywhere. And the same thing if I speak to someone in a mean way or not, I don't know, nice way, whatever you want to say it. It's just I don't want to be talked at in a bad way, so I should just do it to everyone the other way.
I think a lot of times, like as like an activist or whatever, like sometimes we can get heated internally quicker because we're so tired of explaining things. Like I'm so tired of being like, "Why are you gay?" It's like,
Are you sure?
"Are you sure?" Like, is this?
It's just because you haven't.
Yeah. Don't even get me
What is
started.
this?
Yeah, we can't say not on the podcast. But it's like you haven't been with the right man or the woman or whatever.
Right.
Yeah, we've all gotten that,
Yeah.
you know, and it's sometimes I'm quick to get like heated in my head, you know. Like for me, it's with my parents. I can hold it in with strangers for some reason because like I'm kind of scared of people. You never know, got crazies out there.
Sure.
But like with my parents, I can get quickly heated with them when they say something because I'm like, yo, like it ain't changing, it ain't a phase, like, and it's hurtful, and it's one of those things where it's like, you know, they brought you in this world, you want to have a relationship with them, and they can't grasp who you are. They can't support who you are. They, in fact, at some point, they did the opposite of supporting, like, the community, you know? And it's just hard to always kind of fight for it. Like,
It's like emotionally exhausting. Some days you're just like, oh, I don't want to explain it, or I don't want to hear like the, are you sure, and the questioning and all that. It's like, just, why is this even a thing? Why is it a thing?
So what needs to happen that it's not a thing anymore, that it's just like, you are who you are?
I think it's deeper. I think it's just like, it's more than just the gay topic. It's, why do you feel like it's okay to even bring that up to me, you know? So I think people just need to be more aware of like you said, like how you speak to people, the things you say, you know? We've developed tough skins because of everything that we've been through and our resilience and the perseverance and our struggles, but not everyone's like us, you know? And as we know, a lot of people have taken their lives or have these like daily struggles of, you know, where they fit in the world. And I just be aware of like the way you say things and the things that you ask, and it's not always appropriate or okay, you know, and especially strangers. Like, I don't know you, why are you asking me this? Do you even know my name? You know, like, we're not homies.
I always think it's strange why people want to know.
Yeah.
And it's like,
who cares?
Like, what inside you,
yeah,
like, makes you, one, think you can talk to a human in a certain way, and then two, what, like, is this like a genuine thing that you have in your head?
Yeah.
You know, whether it's like racism or homophobia or anything else, it's like, I've noticed with my friends, like, educating them on things helps. Like, even explaining, like, the Stonewall riots, like, basic things for the gays, you know? And it's just, like, my duty to learn about all other cultures that I am not, you know? And, like, I've taken that, you know? Like, I should understand, even, like, Juneteenth is coming up, right? Like, if I don't know what that is, you know, it's like, how can I expect people to understand, like, LGBTQ or anything?
Yeah.
I think personally, like, surrounding myself with a chosen family and community, and, you know, my family's very open about, you know, my decisions in my love life. So I think just try to be yourself, and then the people who really care about you, who really love you, will accept you. And I think that's something I've always kept in the back of my mind. And I think personally, I kind of, I don't really care too much what people think, but I know that's not the case for everyone. So I think that saved me a bit. And just, too, I think, women's soccer, it's a very open space. There's a lot of room for, different walks of life and different sexualities. And I've gotten to, some of my teammates are engaged or married or dating, and it's a very open community. And I feel very fortunate to be able to explore and find myself a bit in that space.
And I love that you brought that up. June is about celebration within this, right? It gets highlighted, and how do we continue that celebration of self? Maybe you guys have what has been maybe your most empowered empowered moment in a part of your stories.
I think one of the most powerful things for me was just really putting myself through college. I know that's not gay related at all, but I think that was just a defining moment in my life of you can do this. You can freaking do it. Everything else is just gonna power through after this.
I've been taking therapy probably for 6-7 years now. I normally try to do it once a month in some ways, and it really helps me to be a whole person. I feel like a better human in some ways because I have someone that I can speak to about the struggles that I have on a daily basis, and that's a super important part for me that helps me. And then also, I'm a white guy. I'm the gay in me makes me minority in some ways, and that overcoming this, having the struggle, I feel like getting through the struggle, fighting with it sometimes, makes me actually a better and a stronger human because I have that struggle and I overcome that, and that makes me also understand other minorities in some ways. And that's what I find is a powerful lesson that I had.
I would say what makes me empowered is just being a nice person. Naturally, if you know me, I'm just a genuinely nice person, and I feel like I can adapt and just make people feel comfortable and just open everyone with kind of open arms. And I take pride in that because throughout my life, I've constantly having to adapt and move in all these different situations and spaces. So just being able to, hold space for friendship. I'm also a big sister, so making space for that, that makes me happy and feel empowered and brings me joy.
For me, it's not just one thing. I was born in Miami, but I then moved to Orlando after first grade, and the school that I started at, the kids I was like an alien in this school, and I would get questions so what, are you white or are you black? Well, I'm coming from Miami, everyone's Latin and every shade, and I'm I'm Latina, what do you mean? I'm hey, so it's moments like that, having to get through that and find a group that I fit in with, which were the Caribbean kids, and then something that you mentioned, kind of what we thought gay was especially lesbian women, this masculine presenting woman with short hair, and that was actually my first exposure to lesbian. I had a babysitter and she was a lesbian, but very masculine, and I remember thinking, well, I know I feel like I'm gay, and I'm kind of these feelings, but if that's what gay is, I'm not sure. I don't want to look like that. So maybe I'm not gay. If that's what gay if that's what gay looks like. So it's working through that, and then going through, just high school in general is awkward, and I put myself through college also. I've owned my own business, and I think just all these little things that you kind of have to just work your way through and just build yourself up and be your own cheerleader and constantly give yourself pep talks and just all of that. What can't I do?
Facts. Right. Retweet.
Yeah,
I mean,
to me, I think, being a woman, being biracial, being not a person who's straight, I think that I'm a minority, I'm marginalized, and just to being able to use my voice and to rally with my teammates and other women and anyone else who might be struggling, who are being discriminated against. I think we always want to help others and want the best for others, and if certainly we can use our voice and our platform to aid whoever needs it, we're always going to do that.
Absolutely. And that just comes with, you all just sharing, the word advocacy comes up, and how to be a self-advocate for who you are, your identity of self. Do you think there's other ways to go about doing it? Just saying and sharing, hey, this is what's important for me in my world, and understanding my world, because we're joining so many of other people's world. People aren't saying, like you're saying, hi, I'm straight. No one's going and doing that. No, hey, I'm Melanie, I'm straight. Yeah. No one's going and doing that, but having to over-explain yourself in that way. But what would be, important?
I think something that Taylor said, like being nice and kind, like, maintaining that through all the struggle, like, and acknowledging that everyone does have a struggle and has things going on. So being kind, being generous, sharing our stories, for me, that's really important. Being visible, like, yeah, it gets annoying having to tell the story over and over again, but then at the same time, you feel empowered in saying your story, because you never know who's watching, especially at work. Like, I care for a lot of, I call them my kids, and when, I kind of balance between boss and friend and mom and this role, and that's empowering for me. Like, if I can have these conversations with them, or they see me like, oh, she's went from this to that, and now she's the assistant general manager, and that is empowering to me. Like, that's what means the most, like being able to just be there for people too, like that support, and just like, come on, let's do this.
We all can do a better job of getting to know people. I think, once we break down those barriers of having a conversation with someone, you realize we're not different. We're not that different at all. I think we just have these preconceived notions about people and communities and stuff, and we need to kind of get away from that and get down to knowing people, and we'll all be a lot better off for it.
Yeah, and just being role models too. Like, in your own way, you all are role models to so many people, and even thinking about your younger selves. What would you guys even tell your younger selves?
You freaking did it. You can be you.
Yeah. Everything's gonna be okay.
Yeah.
Everything's gonna be okay.
That's the biggest thing.
Yeah, and being proud of your process too, and proud of the process, and recognizing it in that way of, this is where I am, and this is the moment, and this is how I'm remaining, compassionate to myself, but also authentic.
Give yourself grace.
Yeah, hey.
Give yourself grace.
I think
that's something I've learned through therapy. Thank you, Mel. We're always putting so much pressure on ourselves, to fit the mold or not, or what's right, what's wrong, am I making the right decision? It's like, don't be so hard on yourself. Like, it's gonna get better.
Yeah. Or even the pressure of coming out.
Yeah,
that was probably
exactly.
the worst pressure ever.
Yeah.
Like, I was terrified, and it ended up not so great. So maybe I worried for a good reason. But I know so many people are like, how do I come out? Yeah. Like, what do I do? What do I say? When's a good time? It's never a great time. It's just the same thing's either gonna happen on Monday or Friday. The same reaction's gonna happen in 2019 or whatever, And realizing that it might be messy. You might lose people, but that relief of getting it out of your system, oh my God, it's just it's
so freeing.
It's so freeing that it doesn't matter if you lose people. It's almost always worth it, And I wish I knew that, I had that confidence. We had Instagram telling me that when I was, a kid and felt all that.
So when we had MySpace,
MySpace. I never had one.
I thought we weren't going to age ourselves.
So to be honest, I think the first time I did an official coming out, remember when my parents came first, I told them, hey, mom, dad, I'm gay, kind of thing. And then afterwards, I just always introduced my partner, and I didn't even say that I'm gay. I was like, hey, this is my boyfriend in some ways. And it's just like, and somehow it gave me the strength to do it. And it also, which sounds stupid, but I didn't have to say it, but it was the clear message to show in some ways, right? And I think love is something that is so powerful as well, right? And no one should ever question love, right? If you love someone, who can say that you can't love that person in some ways? And I think that is, for me, was the most like freeing way to actually explain something through love and show the love that I have in my life.
It's so true though, because people are like, how can you be gay? Are you sure? Like, how can you love the same sex or whatever? And it's like, well, how do you love,
The other
you know,
one.
hetero? You know, like, can you explain it? Can you explain why you're straight? But like, love is love, and love is real. And people accepting that, no matter how hard it is, they have to accept that fact.
I'm actually trying to be more gay.
You need help?
Yeah, maybe. No, like sometimes I'm with Mishi or with Brandon, and like they always want to hug, and I'm like, don't touch me, don't touch me, don't touch me. Sometimes I'm not a touchy person. I don't like to be touched. But I wanna lead in some ways. I want to be more in the community, and also like in the straight community, and show like, hey, I'm gay. I am who I am, and just show what it means to be gay. That we're all different in some ways, right? And I think that's a little bit of pressure I'm putting on myself right now to just help us as a community to just make it more normal, right? And I don't want to hide. I just want to be out there and actually help to show the flag.
I love that.
Yeah.
I show my pride by just being true to myself, by going to, the pride events around Orlando, showing my support however that may look, and just putting myself out there for others. I think that's really important.
And that's good for us to know too as allies, right? Importance of how can we align, to show support as well in the ways to continue to help, and that builds that advocacy and knowing that you're not alone, that we're here standing with you stride for stride, which is, important for us to be able to do that, and what you all maybe want.
I mean, I took Taylor with me to a lesbian event, and it was fun. We had a great time, but like just
fun.
I don't have a lot of gay friends, and I really wanted to go to this event, and I didn't have anyone. I'm like, Taylor, please come with me.
Did you say all the time that I'm straight? Did you introduce yourself, but I'm straight?
No.
Exactly.
It was like
Right.
it was like a regular day party.
Exactly.
It was great.
And it was so awesome to like have her with me, just like a friend, everything's fine. Like we can exist in every space, and it's fun, and there's no pressure.
Yeah.
And
no pressure, wasn't uncomfortable or anything like that. We were just having fun.
We were just
like a
vibing.
regular Miami day party. Exactly. Just vibing.
Yeah.
That's the perfect word.
And that for me, it means everything to have someone that I can just count on for whatever.
Oh,
And
Taylor.
she's like, let's go. Where are we going?
I love that. Yeah.
And to support your world. Like
Yeah,
that has to be
exactly.
wholesome, because saying, do you want to go versus, you could have gone on your own, but you wanted someone to go with you.
Yeah.
And you wanted support.
Yeah.
And sharing these experiences and inviting her into these spaces. And I think that's really wholesome too, of inviting me into these spaces, invite the people, so then you create more space for
Yeah.
conversation, for
Definitely.
vulnerability, because being vulnerable and transparent is no easy task
Yeah.
in any way.
Yeah.
And you allowed yourself, and then you leaned in, and you were just like, you know what, I'm gonna be here and I'm gonna enjoy, which then allows for comfortability and that type of way. So that's awesome.
I mean,
That
I
was
think,
fun.
our relationship has just developed naturally. Like, I feel like we've known each other forever. Like, this is my girl, my work wife. So her asking me to go to this, lesbian event, I didn't even think twice. I'm like, oh yeah, let's go. It's a beautiful day in Miami. Let's go have fun.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Great.
That is so
But
awesome.
for her to feel comfortable enough to even ask me to go,
Yeah. Yeah, that part. That's major. Yeah, 'cause sometimes you're just like, oh, how is this person going to respond, you know?
Yeah.
Like, but
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
like
glad
come
I
to a gay
appreciate
party.
it.
I'm glad I've created an open space.
Aw, you guys are gonna make me cry. Where's my straight friends?
No, that's really beautiful, you know, to have that. That's great. I really just want to thank you all for really being here today on this panel, showing up and holding space and sharing your stories. You know, I treasure that so much, and I know that what you share and have shared and will continue to share will be so inspirational and aspirational, empowering for so many people. The ways in which each of your individual stories, parts of your identity, from being in the community to being allies, and how it just intertwines together in a way of creating safety and like a sanctuary. This has been a beautiful panel, and cheers to you all.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Thank you.